Okay, in this session, we'll create a custom function module. So in the previous session, we worked with a standard function module. We called the standard function module in the program, and we provided the inputs and returned the output, right? So what is the use of function module? Function module is used for modularization of the code, okay? And what are the other uses? We can use function module as a remote function call to access the system, access the data from other SAP systems, okay? We can also use update function modules to, to maintain consistency in database updates. Okay. So primary use of function module is for modularization to make any code reusable. Okay. Now, what is the transaction code to create the function module?
SC37.
Yes, sir,
Go to
37.
SC37. Let me create a very simple function module just for adding two numbers. Just to add two numbers. Now tell me, can we go on directly create the function module? Is there any
No,
prerequisite?
function group.
Function group is mandatory to create the function module. First, if if there is a function group already available, you can use it. If there is no function group available, you need to create your own function group. Mostly in projects, function groups will be already created, and you need to check with your lead or someone like what is the function group we are using for relevant function modules. Okay. For now, we'll create a function group. What is the steps to create a function group? Go to SC37, go to function groups, create function group, create group. Provide the function group name, zdemo. I'll give some name, 10 a.m. Okay. Save it. Usually in projects, we save it in the relevant package and it will ask for a transport request. But for now, we'll save it in the local object. Your function group is created. What is the function group name? Zdemo. 10 a.m. is my function
And
group name.
then
Is that enough? No, you need to check is that function group active or not? Is that function group active or not? We can use only active objects, right? Go to function group, display or change function group. For now, I'm selecting change function group. Continue. So this is the function group zdemo 10 a.m. Now go to the master program. Go to the master program. What is the status of the function group?
Inactive.
Inactive.
next
So it is not active. Okay. So go to master program. It is inactive. So we cannot use this function group. So it is automatically generated two includes. One is for global declarations and another one is for it contains list of function modules. For now it should be empty because we did not create any function modules, right, in this function group. That's why it is empty. Now let's activate the program. Let's activate the master program. There are two ways. I'll show you two different approaches to activate this. So let's activate this. Include missing. So first we need to activate these two includes, or we need to select all together. Z10 AM top, that should be some available somewhere here, or go to the individual include, activate it. It is active actually. Activate this. Top is active now. Now go to the main program. Now activate the main program, master program. Now your master program is also active. Now go back. Now what is the status of your function group?
activate.
Activate.
Activated. There is another way. There is another way of activating the function group. Go to 80 SC80. What is SC80? Object navigator, please make a note. SC80 is for object navigator. Here you can access different objects by using packages or function groups or by user. For example, select the package and enter the package name. For example, what is the package we are using for our developments? $tmp, right? That is the local package.
Yes.
Click on enter. So here you can see all the programs, classes, tables, data elements, domains, everything assigned to this local object package $tmp. For example, check the programs. So these are all the programs created under local object, local package. Okay. Similarly, you can check all the data dictionary objects like data elements, domains, tables, structures, and everything, whatever assigned to this package. And also you can find by function groups. Select the function group. What is your function group name? Enter the function group name. Click on enter. Press enter. Enter the function group name and press enter. Here you can see the function group. Right click on the function group and activate. Now it will activate all the dependent include programs at once. Okay, you don't need to go to the individual include program and activate. So go to a object navigator in SC80, enter the function group name and right click and activate. It will activate all together. Okay, this is another way of activating the function group. Now we have our function group. Let's create the function module. Create, provide the function group name, continue. This is our custom function module. Now tell me, what is the input for this function module? What is the functionality of this function module? To add two numbers, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So what are the inputs? Number one and number two, two numbers, right? Let me define inputs. Here we just follow some naming conventions. You can give any name. You can give any name as a parameter, but always we should follow some naming conventions. Okay. For example, in projects, usually we use I for importing parameter. I underscore number one. Type. What is the data type? The relevant data type. For example, now I'll use I,
Integer.
integer. Or you can pass the data element as well. You can pass the data element as well. Instead of providing these predefined data types, you can pass the data element as well. Or table name or table type. Input can be a single value. Let me show you. So what are the different scenarios? We use different types of data dictionary objects. For single value inputs, what we can use?
Variable.
It's variable kind of input, right? It's a variable kind of input, single value input. For this, what is the type we need to take? Data element of that corresponding field. For example, input is employee ID. We are going to pass data element of the employee ID here. For example, I underscore EMP ID. Employee ID is the input. What we can pass here instead of this? F4 check for the existing data elements. ZDemo employee ID. Click on enter. This is how we pass the input. To pass the employee ID as input, what is the type we provide? Data element. Because it's a single value, right? Right?
Yes, sir.
For example, We need to pass a complete record. We need to pass a complete record like this. That contains employee ID, employee name, and some other data like city. Now, can we pass the data element? For example, like this, I underscore emp data. Can we pass the data element here?
No.
If you pass the data
No, sir.
element, it's going to represent only that employee ID field, right? Not the rest of the fields. But here we have a complete record. Now, what is the type we need to pass here? For single record, what is the type we need to pass here?
Work areas.
We can't use work area, right? Here we can use a table. The relevant table or
Same, sir.
structure.
Yeah.
We need to create a structure with required fields with these three fields, and we need to pass it here. Data dictionary structure. Or what is the alternative? If you are taking all the fields from the table directly, provide the table name like this. What is the table name? Search for database tables. Okay. Provide the complete table name. When you are passing all the fields of this table, how many fields? Employee ID, employee name, city, phone number, and salary. If you need to pass input of all these fields, then you can directly take a table, that corresponding database table as a associated type. Now, this parameter contains whatever the fields available in this table, right? For example, if you need to pass only selected fields, what you need to do? I don't want to pass all the fields of this table, and I need to pass only selected fields. What I need to do? Create a data
Create a
dictionary
structure for
structure.
that.
Create a data dictionary structure with required fields and pass it here. Now, is it going to accept a single record or multiple record? If you pass table,
Pass table.
can we pass multiple records as input, like internal table, to this parameter? No, it will always accept only a single record, a single record. Okay. Even if you pass table name as associated type, the parameter will always accept only a single record. If you need to pass internal table data as input, what is the parameter we have?
Tables.
Tables. We can use tables parameter to pass the internal table data. Here you can pass multiple records as input, but it is outdated or obsolete, right? For that, we have a other type called, for example, if you need to pass internal table data with multiple records as input, Now, what is the associated type we need to take? Table type. Table type. I'll show you how to create the table type, right? Without using tables parameter, if you need to pass internal table data as input or return the internal table data as output, what is the associated type we need to use? Table type. Here, table or structure. Okay. If you pass the table or structure, it can accept only a single record. But if you use a table type, it can accept multiple records. Okay. Now let's see how to create a table type. Go to SC11. Now if I want to pass multiple records, if I need to pass multiple records of this employee data, now what I need to do? I need to create a table type. Go to data type, provide the table type name. For example, I'll take like this zdemo t underscore emp. Create it. Select the table type. line type. In line type, what you need to pass? Table name or structure name. You can use table name or structure name, data dictionary structure name in the line type. Activate the table type. I'm using local object only. Now, instead of table, I'm using table type here. Now, this importing parameter can accept multiple records as input.
Multiple records.
Same with exporting. If you want to return any data, right? Use, if you want to return multiple records as output, use a table type. If you want to return a single record, use table name or structure name. If you need to return only a single value, use data element.
That
Okay?
is
Is everyone able to understand the difference? How to define parameters? It is same with importing, exporting and changing. Defining is same, but their properties will be different. Clear? Now
yes,
let's go back to our adding two numbers. I underscore number 1 type I rename I underscore number 2 type I provide the description. If we use data elements, this description will be automatically populated. Now, sorry, I'm defining the exporting parameters. We need importing parameters, right? Let me delete. Click on delete. Paste it in the importing parameters. Rename. Okay, number 1 and number 2. Now tell me, to calculate two numbers, these two number inputs are mandatory or not?
mandatory.
Sir, mandatory.
Mandatory, right?
Yes,
Then we should not select
Yes, sir.
optional. If you select optional, that will be an optional input, right? Even if you don't provide any input, it will execute. But if it is a mandatory parameter, we should always pass the input. Okay. Now go to exporting. After calculating, what we need to do, we need to return the output, right? We need to return the
Yes.
output, right? So how can you return the output? Using exporting parameter. For example, I'll define one exporting parameter E. E means I'm just for my identification. What type of parameter it is, right? We need to follow some naming conventions. There is no rule that we have to follow the same name, but we should follow some naming convention. Output type. What is the type we need to take? Integer only, right?
Integer.
Now changing. I'm not using changing for now. Tables. I'm not passing any internal table data as input or output. Exceptions. Let's define the exception. So I'm using this exception to raise error when there is no input. Okay, when there is no input. Now go to the source code. You can see that function module interface which contains import and export. Now write the code. See, don't confuse. You are not going to write normal ABAP statements only, whatever you learned till now. But the place is different. Okay? You just need to learn the navigations to create the function module. Rest of the coding is same. In SAP, so most of the objects are like this only. You just need to understand the navigations. Everywhere you are going to use same ABAP statements. Okay, if you see content, you can see a lot of concepts, right? Reports, interfaces, enhancements, many things. But everywhere, what is the code you need to write? ABAP statements only. The place where you are going to write is different. For that, you need to understand some navigations. Okay. Now,
Yes, sir.
e underscore output equal to I num1 plus I underscore num2. Right? That's it. Check the function module, activate it. Now, how to test the function module? Do we need to call it in the program to test it? Not needed. We can test in SC37 itself.
Yes.
Here we have test. Pass the inputs 2 and 5. Execute. Value output is 7. In exporting parameter, it is returning the output. For example, I am not passing any value. Execute. I'm not passing any value. But in this case, I need to raise a error because it's an invalid calculation, right? Without
Yes,
any
sir.
value. So here I want to raise one error, exception. We don't raise errors, but exceptions. If I underscore num1 is initial and I underscore num2 is initial, then what we need to do? We need to
Raise
raise
an
a
action.
exception.
Action.
Rise and the exception name, the relevant exception which you want to raise. Okay. Now check, activate it. Now test it. Now I am not passing any data. Exception is raised. You can observe this exception. Pass one input. Exception is
Yes.
raised and the exporting parameter is blank because calculation did not happen. Even before the calculation, exception is raised. Let me debug it. Keep a breakpoint here. Execute now. Both inputs are empty. F5. It is rising the exception. Okay. If you enter at least one value, I'm entering 10. Click on execute. We are using AND, right? Number 1 should be initial and number 2 also should be initial, but number 1 is not initial, so it is false. So it will calculate the value into exporting parameter. Value is 10. 10 plus 0, 10. Okay. Now can we change the importing parameter in debug? Observe here. Can we change the importing parameter? Double click. It won't allow you. It won't allow you to change. It won't allow you to change the value. Importing parameter value. What about exporting parameter? You can change the value in program level. Okay. I'm showing you in debug, but you can change the value in program level in function module. Okay. But importing parameters values cannot be changed. Okay. What about changing parameter? Let me define one changing parameter. For example, for changing parameter, I'll use one naming convention like C underscore value type I. In source code, what I'll do, E underscore output or E underscore, what is it? C underscore value. C underscore value equal to C underscore value plus E underscore output. Activate the function module. test it. I'm passing some value in changing parameter. For example, 20. Here I'm passing 10, 30. Execute. Changing parameter value updated, right? What is the original value you passed? What is the original value? 20, right? You passed it 20, and what is the updated value? 60. So changing parameters can accept the input and return the output, and we can change the data in between. Okay. So let's try now. 2, 4, and here in changing parameter I am passing 5. Now execute. F5. Exporting parameter. Output is calculated. Now what I am doing? I am modifying the changing parameter value by adding exporting parameter value. Value is updated and it will return the updated value. Is everyone clear how to use import, export and changing parameters?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now let's call this function module in the program. See, these basic things are very important. You need to understand. Okay. Now we have created the program. Let's take two inputs. Parameter p underscore value 1, type I, type I. Initialization. Even though these are not required, I'm adding because you should remember this. So even though if you are not using, just try to add these events. So that you can easily remember the sequence of events. Okay. Now in start of selection, I am going to call the function module. What is the option we need to use to call the function module? Pattern.
Pattern.
Go to function module name and continue. Provide the input value 1. Can we pass any type? Can we use character type? Char 10 and pass it here.
No.
It will throw type conversion error. It will throw type conversion error if you pass different type here. So always make sure whatever the parameters you are passing to the function module should be of same type. Should be of same type. Go to the function module and check what is the type of first importing parameter. Type I. Define your parameter also with type I. What is the second importing parameter? Type I. Define same type and pass it here. To return the output, also we should follow same. We should follow the same. What is the type of this integer? So we should use a integer variable here. It's a single value, right? It's a single value, right? For that we can use variable data lv underscore output type I. Here pass lv underscore output. In changing parameter, We'll use changing parameter also. This one. Initially it would be 0, but the value will be updated with some new value. Okay. Or define one more parameter. Type I. Exceptions, enable the exceptions, uncomment the exceptions. If sub r is equal to 0 means it is successful. Function module is successfully executed. Then display the output. Activate it. Spelling mistake. Now keep a breakpoint at function module. Pass the value. You need to maintain selection text. I did not added the selection text. Execute. Now tell me how to debug this function module. If I press on F5, what will happen? It will execute the function module line by line.
Line by
It will
line.
go inside the function module. The controller will go inside the function module and execute it line by line. If I click on F6,
Function by function, sir.
function by function, it will complete the execution in a single step. Okay, it won't go inside the function module. Okay.
Okay, sir.